rescue.
Greetings and salutations, guys. I'm here with my review of Last Breath. This is a new feature film that is based on a documentary from 2019, except since that documentary was telling a true story, it's all based on real life. Same director. We've got Alex Parkinson here, who co-directed that documentary, returning to direct the scripted version of this story. So obviously a story he is connected with quite a bit. True story here about these three divers. They work repairing pipeline at the ocean floor. Quite a job. And while they're on a job down there repairing pipeline, something goes wrong with the ship above them. That the systems all fail on the ship, and it is not holding in place like it's supposed to. And in the turmoil that happens right then, one of the divers is accidentally cut loose. His tether to get him back in is cut away, and he is out there now, not connected to them. There is a blackout under the ocean because they don't have their power, their lights that they would have, and they're desperately trying to get to him because he has very, very limited amount of air left in his suit. And the question is, can they rescue him in time? This is an interesting movie. It's a shorter movie than you might expect. It's just over 90 minutes, but it makes sense once you learn about the true story, once you either read about it or if you watch the documentary, and you know that what really happened in a very contained amount of time. So yes, they're going to have all the build up to it and whatnot, but then once this event occurs, we're in it. I had, some mixed feelings about this movie because I think at its core, it's pretty damn effective. The core element here, which is the rescue attempt, and can this person be saved, and following what's happening, is innately harrowing, and it is very well done in the film. I think Parkinson does a really good job here, directing this film as far as those underwater sequences, the underwater photography, and just, how uncomfortable it feels even in the setup. I mean, when you watch these guys go through their process and things you don't think about because this is not a job most of us would ever think about, and what they have to go through to prepare to go under there, and how they're in these sort of chambers for several days, and how they have to get ready for the whole process and everything involving with decompressing, and, you can't just get in and out of this thing. And then once you were actually down there in the water, just you in the suit, and what it would mean if that tether was cut, it's absolutely terrifying. And there are moments in this movie that are very nerve-wracking. There are moments in this movie that I was definitely feeling anxiety and tension, as you should, about what is occurring here. I think the build-up to it is sort of ho-hum. I mean, we meet the three core characters, and you've got Finn Cole here as Chris. He is the one who is going to be lost in this movie that they're trying to rescue. You've got Woody Harrelson as kind of the old-timer Duncan, and then you've got Simu Liu has Dave. He is the kind of stoic one. He is the one that has decided that he is going to keep his personal life out of all of this, and just the job is the job, and that's the way he gets through this. So we meet them, and we get this sort of quick introduction to all of them. We spend a little more time with Chris and meet his fiancée and kind of get the idea that he is not a rookie, but he is the youngest and the one that doesn't have as much experience as these other guys. But that's it. It's very sort of surface level, no pun intended, in a movie about going under the ocean. When we meet, say, Duncan, they give him, the witty banter that's not that witty. It all kind of feels a little forced as far as creating this scenario. Even the stoic nature of Dave seems a little overdone as far as how he presents himself. So I wasn't really clicking with the movie in those sequences. But then, once we're in it, once we are watching this horrific thing happening and the desperation to save Chris, I think it's a very well done movie. And that's the core element of the movie, right? That is what you were kind of going to see. And I think it definitely delivers on that front. There is something about this movie that's very sort of classic, old school. Just the idea that it's like this rescue mission, and the triumph of the human spirit, and what can be done, and will, everyone get out of this safely, and if they don't, what that sacrifice means. And it works, it works on that level for sure. It's very well shot. I think that the way that they intermix, sort of the camera footage of the characters in the movie and what they're seeing, but also the guys up in the ship who are sending down drones and trying to follow all this. And of course, those people are all terrified that they're going to lose members of their team, but they're almost powerless to help because the ship is not functioning correctly. There's all that tension, and I think it just does that really well, while I wish the characters were, more well fleshed out. There's a funny sequence in this movie that involves one of the crew members on that ship, and a very important moment for him, whether he can accomplish a big goal. I don't think this character speaks until this happens. And it was this strange shift of like, wait, oh, now we're following this guy, and now we're supposed to kind of be deeply invested in what's happening here with him. Now, yes, we're invested in how it pertains to Chris, but it also seems like as a character, we could have gotten to know this guy. It's a pretty short movie, and there is time in the build-up to get to know the crew better, but they don't really do that. So you kind of have to just go with that as far as what's happening here. There were some people I think did stand out. I really liked Mark Bonar, who's a character actor you've seen in a million things, but he plays kind of the mission control guy, the guy up in the ship that is sort of guiding them via camera, and who now has to deal with this situation and the fact that he can't see them, and the fact that he feels so responsible, and what can he do. And I think that performance is very good. I mean, all the acting is good in this film. It's a good group of actors, but they're not given a lot of, deep things to do here. It is mostly about the situation. Cliff Curtis plays the captain of the ship. Again, I felt like we could have gotten to know him a little bit better, even though I did like seeing some of the decisions he makes and how he has to make some hard calls as far as, of course, he wants to do anything he can to save these people, but sometimes it's a question of maybe things would be a lot worse for a lot of other people if he makes the wrong call here. So there are these moments that I think really pop throughout the film, and it is almost impossible, I think, to not be drawn in to this central scenario and to this rescue mission and to feeling just the claustrophobia mixed. It's a strange thing to say, claustrophobia because of the suit, but you're also in the depth of the ocean with limitless space around you, but you can't breathe. And for a lot of this movie, Chris can't see because there's, no light almost for him. I think the movie cheats a little even by giving him some flares and whatnot at moments, just so we, the audience, can see a little more. It works on that level. It works on the core level it needs to, I think, to succeed. The wrap-up of the movie, I kind of felt similar about as far as the setup, because I think that, it kind of was losing me a little bit. There's some things that I feel are a little ham-fisted about a couple of the final scenes, but then the actual very conclusion, they used some footage of the real-life guys, and it got to me. It worked. So it has a sort of strong beating heart because of the central scenario and how engaging it is and how well told it is. Has just a tense, I don't want to say action, but thriller aspect of it, though it is based on true events, and it's easy to connect to that, even if the way they depict it feels like they could have done a better job with the buildup and deepening who these people are and the interpersonal dynamics before all hell breaks loose. But I would still recommend this movie if this kind of story is appealing to you. And, I know mileage will vary as far as like who wants to, go see this, but also look up what happened and know, is it a happy ending? Is it not? That information is easily accessible, but I think I went in not knowing, although I had a pretty good idea how it might end. But I was still, certainly engaged in watching this and hoping that everything was going to work out. Just because, damn, that is a job that I have to commend people for doing, because it's one of those things of someone needs to do it. But it is absolutely terrifying to think about actually being in that scenario. But it definitely proves that some people are just built different. Some of us are built to talk about movies sitting at desks on the internet, and some are submerging themselves and going 300 feet down to the ocean floor to try to fix damaged pipeline. We all find our fate and our purpose. But yeah, so Last Breath, at the end of the day, I do think, this is a movie that I would say delivers on what they promise from the ad campaign. And, some films can't even do that. All right, guys, that's it for now. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be great. Thanks, and take care.